Ciao babe, welcome back to my channel. If you've seen the recent news, that's fine, but if you've not, you will know of the recent story of she's one of my favorite femininity coaches, so no hate. Nobody said no hate nowhere. Remember that. But yeah, so basically she got intertwined in basically her husband was a whole monster. Okay, man. Yeah. Her husband was a whole monster, and yeah, her whole channel was basically about him, the new trophy wife, and then he ended up. Let's watch the video together and let's react to it because it's so sad. I literally love her so much, and she's one of the people I really look up to. So for this to have happened to her, I feel so bad and so sad for her. It could have been you, so make sure you are kind to her. So this is where she met her husband, right? She was married in 1 week, so that's the first red flag. When I saw it at first, I thought, oh, such a cute love story, because sometimes love stories happen like that. But sometimes, guys, we need to be able to vet these men properly. You get it? She was a single mom too. So you have to really know the kind of men that you are going to be exposing your children to. And yeah, he came out as this knight in shining armor, this Christian man. So we have to really be careful because some men may proclaim Jesus with their mouth, but their hearts don't really belong to him. And it's said in the Bible. Let's watch it together.
I had my first child when I was 17 years old.
Mm-hmm. So she had her first child when she was 17, guys. So she would say it, but she was very desperate. So she was not desperate, but her self-esteem was very low because she felt like she's not good enough because she has children.
Intentionally got pregnant with my boyfriend at the time and
Mm.
basically turned into a child raising a child.
So she intentionally got pregnant. So I guess maybe a situation as she wanted the man to stay or something. And I feel like she may have had daddy issues. Not she may have had, she had. Because her father was not in her life. And we will see later why he wasn't in her life. So I guess she wanted that masculine energy to always be there. That's why she may have intentionally got pregnant. But guys, don't do that. Seriously, let God be the man, the only man that you need if you don't have a father. Because me, for instance, I had daddy issues, right? And I spoke about it more in my Dating as a Child of Divorce ebook. Let me see if I can find it. I'll put it in the description. So basically, because my parents divorced, I got a lot of daddy issues. But my daddy issues manifested in a way that I didn't want men near me, right? Because I hated men, but I still wanted that fairy tale romance because I felt like that one man would always be good to me. It's really sad.
I, a few years later, had my second child. So after having two children and being a
And remember, children will not keep a man. Welcome. Remember, please tell me where you are watching from. Put it down in the comments below. Children will not keep a man. Let's continue watching.
single mom, I think that my self-esteem was definitely low. I didn't know that at the time, but if I think back about the kind of men that I was choosing, it definitely was a reflection of my lower self-esteem. When I met my husband, I knew right away.
So I don't know if you've seen this video about basically she thought she had this good knight in shining armor husband, but he turned out to be a monster who basically molested, yeah, his children. It's a really sad story, and she's basically speaking about how she met her husband and she married him within a week. So let's continue watching. Welcome. Please put down in the comments below where you're watching from.
Definitely true. I know it sounds cliche. Just from our first date, it just felt natural. I was so I was like, I need a place to stay because my lease is ending and I just broke up with my boyfriend, and maybe even if it's just like
Okay, so I cut some bits out, right? But then she met him on eHarmony, a dating app. And sometimes it's okay. Dating apps are good to use, but you have to know how to use them properly because this man is basically 20 years her senior. So for him not to have been married at that point, you should think, what was the reason? But anyway, I digress. So she met him and then they were talking, but then they stopped talking, right? They stopped talking for a while. And then she got into a relationship with somebody else and she was living with the person with her two boys. And then they broke up and then she met him again on the dating app. And then she said that, oh, she has broken up with her boyfriend, so she wanted a place to stay. So, and it's not like she was broke, but I guess she wanted his provider nature to come out or something. And let's listen to what he said.
Just like for a couple weeks, it's okay. Just while I look for, somewhere else because I hadn't planned on needing to find somewhere else. And he was saying, well, if you're going to live with me, it's going to be as my wife, not as my girlfriend. And I was
Yeah.
like, well, how spontaneous are you? And he laughed and he said, very spontaneous. So then he started entertaining the idea of getting married, like
Yeah.
immediately.
Guys, so I like that. I like a man who knows what he wants, right? But it's so sad. This could have been such a great love story, but then it didn't happen. And yeah, it really hurts. And these are some of the things some people were saying. And it's crazy because everybody was like, oh, this is so cute at the beginning. And now everybody is like, oh, we can see the red flags, please. So this is what somebody said. It's interesting that I only saw about 3 comments who clocked that this was not it. Now people want to come in and act as if they'll be able to see it. Yeah. Like they do not have they do not have the benefit of 2020 hindsight. We need to be kinder with ourselves and other women. Life is hard, yeah. Sometimes we make it hard, other times evil people make it hard. Making mistakes, especially when your kids end up paying, is even harder, yeah. My heart breaks for her, and many of us have been in similar positions where we believe the fantasy while ending up in a nightmare. The only thing we can do is grow, learn the lesson, ask for forgiveness, and do so much better. Yeah. So all these people that are being like, oh, this couldn't be me. You think she thought it could be her? No. We will see later that she herself, she had been abused when she was younger. And because she had been through so much, she was really praying and asking God for the right man. And this man came up like a knight in shining armor, like this Christian man, and basically bamboozled her. And she was married to him for like 5 years. You see, so this is not something that you can say, oh, it will not be me. It could be you. So that's why we need to pray. And when you see the first red flag, run. Not and like the title says, should we marry men with money? Money isn't the problem. It's the people that are the problems. Let's see what somebody else said. Dating rich. Somebody was like, oh, you shouldn't be dating rich. And this person replied to that person. Dating rich, it has nothing to do with money. Yeah. Broke men are predators. Men with money are predators. Of course, not all men are predators, okay? No, don't put that in your head. Not all men are predators. It's that simple. And the same goes to women. But then it's crazy because you cannot say, oh, just because he's rich, he's a predator. What? The thing is that I have seen more broke men being predators than compared to rich men. But yeah, so it's up to the person. Even though when you have money, it can bring out the worst part in you because you don't really have to answer to anybody. You can just buy them off with your money. That's why sometimes before God would give you a certain amount of worth, He is going to work on your character. And that's why sometimes what you want from God is going to keep so long. Like me with my YouTube channel, like I've been praying like, God, like why are things not working out yet for me? But God wants to work on my character first. So then the waiting season may be hard, but God wants to do that for you to become a great person when you come out in the end, so that money will not toy with your mind. This is what somebody else said. Yeah, and there's this weird trend of people pretending broke men are angels, and it's always confused me. Some of the most horrible monsters I've seen are broke. They don't need saving. It's true because I spoke about my video on why women love providers, right? That I have seen a lot of broke men And because they are broke, they end up being really insecure, and that's what leads to domestic abuse and things like that. Some rich men may have problems, some broke men may have problems. It's not up to the money or the lack of money, it's up to the kind of person that you are with, the character that they have. So that's why we need to vet men properly, guys. 1 week is not it. It may seem like such a cute love story, maybe in the olden days, but these days it's scary, especially if you're a single mom. Like, don't let your self-worth be so down that you think, oh, because I don't have children, nobody will love me. What? You deserve the best, regardless whether you have children or not. So wait on God to bring you the right man, and not just go for a man that says he's a Christian in name, yet they don't actually follow God. Let's continue watching. So this is the new video, right? Where she's talking about her man. Her husband was basically a whole monster and she didn't know. And like I said, no judgment. It could have been you. No judgment. Please be kind. Because she feels worse compared to anybody else.
Little over a month since I had to end up leaving my husband.
I was
Handling this
shocked.
whole brand around being this man's wife, and
Yeah. I don't know if you know her channel, the new trophy wife, but her whole channel was basically about hypergamy and attracting a good provider man, which is great. I don't know why the men were all like so happy that, oh, because you want a rich man, you're a gold digger. What's wrong with a woman wanting a man who is financially stable and can provide for her and their children? What's wrong with that? And of course, she was not just looking for that; she was also looking for a man of God. But it ended up being her worst nightmare.
trying to teach other women how to attract good men and provider men and all these different things. And I truly held my husband, or saw him, as the bar
Yeah.
for what every woman should, type of man that, or type of husband that every woman should aspire to have. I didn't realize that the person I married was actually going to be my biggest nightmare. When I first met my husband, I really thought that that man was my Prince Charming. I thought that he was my
Like I said.
knight in shining armor, and he portrayed himself to be this amazing, upright, righteous Christian man.
Yeah. Like, guys, that's why I said the vetting period is so essential. Like, at least if you're going to date, I don't believe in dating over a year. Welcome. Please, if you're new here, please put down where you're watching in the comments below. So I don't believe in dating for over 2 years. No. But then 1 week, really, dating for 1 week, that's too much. I know they had dated before the 1 week came. But then you really have to know people well. You really have to. Not just because somebody says he's a Christian or he reads the Bible, but somebody who has a true relationship with God, who actually takes their prayer time seriously, who is actually also waiting on God to bring them a woman. Like, because people can change, whether it's men or women, they can make themselves out to be whosoever they want to be. And that's why you have to be as wise as a serpent. You have to be vigilant. Seriously. Let's continue.
And I believed him.
She did.
After we got married, and this is something that I haven't talked about, I started noticing like certain things changed with him,
After they got married.
and started to see a few things that I didn't like. But I honestly thought that some of these were things that I could get past.
Yeah, I don't know if you can read it here. So she said he RAP'd her 4 times in the first few months of marriage. What? And she was waiting till marriage, right? So maybe he felt starved or whatever. I don't even know. And it's crazy because I feel like if they had waited a bit, right, during the dating season, she may have seen all these kind of signs early. Because if they did it in the first few months of marriage and then they actually just dated for a month, 2 months, she would have seen it, wouldn't she? because people cannot really hide themselves for over 3 months. So that's why at least 3 months you should date. And it's so sad that and date marriage, right? Marriage violence. People don't really see it as a big thing, especially when it comes to sexual violence in marriage, because it's like, oh, we are married, so it's normal. So maybe people were saying, oh, he did all this, why didn't you leave? Maybe she didn't know that that was actually what it was. You see, she thought that, oh, maybe it's her husband being attracted to her and he just wants her so bad. But she didn't see it like this. So when these things came out, that's when she was able to realize, huh, so this guy was actually doing all these to me and I stayed. I didn't know. You see, so she must have been feeling even more guilty than anybody could be. So make sure you don't send her hate. Like for her to even come out to come and speak about this when her whole brand is about hypergamy and she having a great husband. Do you know the strength it takes for her to do this? She doesn't have to. She really doesn't have to. Like me, my whole brand is about femininity and things like that. You can book a coaching session with me if you want to learn how to be more feminine. But imagine, even me that I am not that big, if something like this were to happen, it would be so hard for me to be vulnerable and share it to everybody, knowing that people are just going to take the mic or laugh at me. So for her to come out and say these things, guys, have grace. Be kind towards her because she has done so well. For her to take the steps that she took and to also come here and tell us this. Let's continue.
I was changing my daughter, my 4-year-old daughter, and I noticed that when I changed her, she was red and very sensitive. And
Oh gosh. Red and very
immediately
sensitive.
need and things like that. So going Halloween
Wait,
shopping was
I
the
think I've forwarded it.
best thing I could think of to just hurry up and get the kids out of the house.
Wait, I'm coming. But anyway, I think I forwarded it and it's hard for me to go back. But what she was saying was that she's realized that her child was very red and sensitive. And oh my gosh, it just makes me feel like, what? And when she saw that, she was thinking, oh, baby, did anybody did do anything to you? Like, what happened? Why are you like this? Because it's the worst nightmare for any woman. And my mom was like that when we were younger. It's like, oh. And then the child was like, oh, daddy did it. Daddy did it. Imagine her whole world crashing down. I'm speaking because I've skipped that bit. It's hard for me to go back. So she had to make up a plan that she had to get the children out of the house because their husband wasn't there. He had gone to take up her two older sons because she had two sons before the marriage, right? So the child was for the man. People thought that, oh, it's maybe his stepchild, but no, it was his biological daughter. So she had to make up a plan. It was during Halloween time that, oh, she's going to do Halloween shopping. So she's able to get all the children out of the house and take some things because she's going to do it with her sister. It's just so heartbreaking. Imagine. Let's continue.
House, the hospital, they basically told me that to evaluate my daughters.
She sent them to
It
the
ended up coming
hospital.
out that he had actually been touching both of my daughters, who are only 2 and 4 years old.
Are you kidding me? Some people were like jail time because these kind of men they deserve to have their willies. I said their willies. They deserve to have their manhood cut off. Your own children, 2 and 4. It's just so sickening. So sickening. We're like, what has the world come to? What has the world come to? And this is not because he's rich. It's not because he's rich. It's because of the kind of person that he is. Guys.
When kept waking up every day and just hoping that this was a dream,
Yeah.
because it's literally my worst nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
It's my worst nightmare. I myself am a product of RAPE.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I came to be. And
Like, you see what I said? If you've not watched it yet, please rewind back. And I spoke about it that she has daddy issues because of her circumstances of her birth. So I don't know if she knows her father. And even if she knows her father, she probably hates him because she was a product of RAPE. And that's so sickening, guys. Like, oh my God. Imagine she's been a product of that kind of behavior, right? So she would want to live in a way that her children would not want to experience that kind of thing. That's how my mom too was because she experienced abuse kind of thing. So she was very particular with us. And look at it's so sad that like women have to protect themselves so much. It's bad enough protecting yourself from the outside. Because when I was younger, we lived in a place that it was very in Ghana, it was a lot of bushes and things like that, and it was very scary. So I always felt like somebody would do something to me, like all the time. And it was so scary to me, and I kept praying, and God protected me. But some people did not have that. Some people, a lot of women went through abuse. That's why I spoke about in my sexy red video. Make sure you watch after this. There are a lot of women that are hypersexual. They may have experienced this kind of abuse and trauma in childhood. So don't just look at them and judge them, but actually try to listen to them. Don't go and do their behavior, but try to listen to them and see where they are coming from and be kind towards them because you never know what somebody has been through. Look at her, for instance, like going through all this, and then people are making it even worse and worse. Like, what? And this is what some I will just speak about it
was
later. Let's
also,
continue.
abused as a child
Hmm.
by a neighbor's husband. And I specifically prayed to God that my children would never, ever, ever have to go through this.
Guys, like this is a comment somebody said. I want us to read it and then we'll continue. And I feel like it's so true. The person said, this is generational. Yeah. This is beyond you. This is spiritual in nature. This is at least 3 generations deep now. Yeah. I will be praying for you and your daughter's deliverance. May God protect you and stretch his healing hands over you and your family. He loves you. I'm so sorry you're going through this. Like when somebody's going through this, you'll be like, oh God, where were you? Like, why did I have to go through all this? But a lot of times, God gives us so many signs and red flags, but we choose to ignore it. Like, for instance, I'm sure God gave us so many signs, but then she thought he was a good man and he deceived her about being a Christian, whatever. So she didn't want to judge him. So she just went along with it. But guys, when God is showing us signs, like me in my previous situationships, God literally plastered the signs on my head and I still did not want to leave or say no. It took a while before I was like, nah, I'm done with this. Sometimes God is showing us, but we want to close our eyes. Love is not blind. Open your eyes. Seriously. So, like I said, the abuse is generational, 3 generations. And a lot of things that happen in our families, we don't know, but they are patterns, generational curses, generational patterns. I spoke about it in my Dating as a Child of Divorce ebook. I'll put a link in the description below. Yeah, they are generational, and that's why we have to break it. Like in my family, I've seen a generation of divorce. Literally, all the women in my family divorced. Literally, and that's why I brought out the ebook Dating as a Child of Divorce because I'm not going to be a statistic. I'm not going to be a divorce statistic. And so would you. Say it out. I am not going to be a divorce statistic. Doesn't matter what my ancestors were doing, doesn't matter what happened in my family. I break it. From me going onwards, that pattern and that curse is broken. Like for instance, for her, like her mother got raped, she abused, and now her children, even by their own father. This is not just physical, it's spiritual, and she needs to pray against it. And that does not mean that he's not at fault. And no, he's a monster. He's an actual monster. Even if it's spiritual, for you to be used to do that to your own children, it's sickening. Let's continue. And make it smaller so you can see me.
And I'm just not quite sure how this happened, why this happened. Don't know how he was able to get away with it, and so because with my own trauma, I
Yeah.
watch my kids. I
So
watch my kids
sneaky.
like a hawk. Like, I don't like them sitting on people's laps. None of that. And he knows how much I cannot stand men like him. And even go to sleep in my own house and know that my children are safe.
Yeah. Like she couldn't even sleep. Like because she sleeping means that her children were not protected. That's so sick. And the thing is that people are blaming her, like victim blaming, like, oh, if you saw that he raped you in the beginning, why didn't you just leave? But if you want to know what I think about that, please rewind because that's just insane. Victim blaming now. The man is their father, their own father. They cannot be protected by their father. The father is meant to be the protector and the leader. Now the woman has to be the one to open her eyes when she's sleeping, like keep one eye open in case their father doesn't do anything to them. She got the abuse from a neighbor's husband, but this one is their own father. Imagine the betrayal, the hurt, the pain. Guys, this is what some people said, and I love that people were being kind towards her because she really needs it at this time. You leaving that man is very telling of what kind of woman and mother you are. Yeah, many mothers would not have left to protect their sons and their daughters. You are a great mother. Yeah. And the people were like, she should also be mindful of the sons because he may have done something to them too, which is so true. Because his own biological children, he did this too. So then imagine his stepchildren. He doesn't care if it's a son, right? Look at the whole Didi situation. I made a video on that, so please watch it after this video, the Cassie and Didi situation. He wouldn't care. So she has to be very mindful of the sons too. And that's what somebody else also said. It's quite long. Please know, as someone who worked in this field, your daughter's experience is very much in tandem with your reaction to what happened. Yeah. You believing your daughter, advocating for her, leaving her abuser, filing charges, and getting therapy will have such a positive impact. Yeah. You doing the right thing has so much to do with how she moves forward. Please know that. Once you knew, you protected her. Yeah. That is so important. Young children, especially her age, are incredibly resilient. You two will get through this. 3 of them now. We are all sending you so much love and healing. Please just know, Mama, your reaction and defense to her is what's most important. Yeah. So when she found out, she did not just stay there because a lot of women will stay because he's rich. She has everything. She's a housewife. She doesn't have to work. And the worst part is that she literally just had a baby. Just a few months ago, she had a baby for him. So now she has 5 children that as a single mother, she has to take care of. So a lot of women will just stay and be like, oh, let me just protect them then. I will just stay. But she left, and that's what's most important. The deed has been done. There's nothing you can do. So if you've been in this kind of situation or you're a mother in this kind of situation, don't blame yourself. Trust me, you've done the right thing by leaving. Now, the best thing is to get therapy for her and to press charges. That man needs to be in jail. This kind of thing has to be for life because he's their father. But whatever. And people are like, oh, marriage is not the answer. But because she's married to him, she can get the alimony, she can get benefits or whatsoever that comes with marriage, even when divorce happens. But then if she was not married to him and this kind of thing happens, if she was a baby mama, what would she have had in the end? You get it? But now she can actually get the property and actually get what she has to get from the father of the children. And of course, we don't want this kind of scenario. But I'm just speaking on the benefits of marriage. But then marriage is only beneficial when you actually vet the person to actually know who you're getting married to. Otherwise, it's better to just date. If you're just going to be dating for in 1 week, you get married. It's just such a sad situation. And I pray that she gets through this. That God loves her no matter what happens. And God loves her. That's why she was able to even see that quickly before it even became worse, right? That she can do all things through Christ who gives her strength. That she should not panic. That we are here for her too. And I'm glad you stayed with me throughout this video. Like, kisses. You're a true royal babe. Please like and subscribe and share this video to everybody who needs to know because it's an important topic. And I'll see you in the next video.